intense, heavy conditioning while also maintaining everybody's body for the home stretch. So this year, I think we've taken a little bit more of a focus on mobility. Brought out some of the bands from the weight room to make sure that guys are elastic. Right? There's a big movement in baseball training where we're trying to increase mobility because of it being such a explosive sport in such short bursts, because we're not conditioned athletes like, say, a cross-country runner is, but we still have to condition our body to go contracted to stretched at any moment, or stretched to contracted at any moment. So we do a lot of mobility stuff and try and keep the legs fresh, especially for our pitchers and our catchers, who are working very, very hard every pitch, not just every once in a while like the rest of our fielders.
So this season, obviously, you guys may not have had, the amount of success that everyone was kind of hoping for preseason and coming into the year. So if you could pick one thing about this season overall, what do you think has been the hardest thing to deal with this year?
Playing pretty much just team baseball, not following the approach sometimes, and just playing for yourself, playing selfishly. But we've been turning that around lately and playing more as a team, and it's been showing a lot.
I'd probably have to say same thing as Jackson. You start to lose confidence in yourself and your team, and then that's when you just start playing for yourself. You become selfish, start just trying to hit home runs the whole time, and don't really work as a team and put away and run slowly and slowly win the game.
I think we had a tough time bouncing back from some mistakes and errors that were made, and it would just shut us down. So if an error was made early in the game, it would just kill the vibe, and then we would never get that vibe back.
Last year, you guys graduated a pretty decent-sized senior class and some players that made big impacts on the team. This year, only having one senior, and you guys could be categorized as a younger team. How do you guys think, having only one senior and maybe not a certain group of guys to look to leadership-wise, how do you guys think that's changed your outlook on this season?
I'd probably have to say we're all leaders, and that just because we only have one senior, we still use the juniors to help lead the team as well. But I feel like we're all leaders, and just all of us together are just a good group, and we don't need the seniors to lead us. We can all lead us all together.
Yeah, it wasn't a really big change in the outlook of the season, because the same sophomores and juniors on the team were on the team last year, and we had built chemistry, and we played together the year before. So the bonds were there, and the leadership and friendship was all there. So that was good.
I just think what was missing was some of the pitching. A lot of the pitching for those older guys was really, really good. And some guys like Ashton Seaman stepped up. Jackson stepped up, a couple guys, but I think we were just missing the pitching leadership. So, yeah.
I agree with them. I will say, though, that even though we do have a young team, I think the leadership aspect is a learning process. I think for guys at the high school level, oftentimes they only see what leadership is through, what they see on SportsCenter, and it's somebody yelling and screaming and being really animated. But these guys have begun learning that leadership is more than just screaming "let's go" when we've got an important game, but also taking care of the field, making sure that you're doing the right things at the right times, hustling all the time, being supportive of their teammates, because that's what leadership looks like when cameras aren't out. And I think we're starting to learn that, and it's nice to have a young group, because that learning process is happening on a team level rather than just on an individual level.
You guys mentioned earlier in the season there was a little bit of lack of team baseball and some struggles, and then when you guys mentioned that in the recent games stuff has kind of started to turn around and maybe just a touch too late, not having enough time left in the season. But with these last few games, what is kind of the outlook and what is the morale like in the team right now going into the last couple games?
Yeah, I think we're finding out. Obviously, we didn't end up where we wanted to be. Getting into the playoffs. Unfortunately, the way everything broke out this year is we were on the much more difficult side, and we're just the last ones looking in. If we would have been on the other side, we would have been in weeks ago. But in terms of the next few games, just being able to grind, being able to do the little things right, so that we can build on that for these guys' summer season, their fall season, and then eventually when we get to next season, is understanding that playing team baseball may not be the flashiest thing in the world, but it builds trust, it's sustainable. So hopefully these guys are getting that, and then we continue to do that in the next 2 games. Looking forward.
Yeah, I feel like the morale's up right now, especially yesterday. The dugout felt a lot more loose, and like we were playing freely almost. And today we get a chance to knock off a top 3 team in the state, and Tuesday the defending champ. And I think we have a good chance at both those.
I think that we have pretty good morale right now. It's obviously not like top tier because we'd like to be fighting for a championship, but just something to look forward to next year. It's a bit of motivation, so yeah.
Do you guys have any pregame rituals?
After steel jumps, we all gather around. Josh hits a cartwheel, goes into a backflip. That's pretty exciting. And we also all circle around, do a prayer, and get hype when Coach Dave comes back. Yeah, that's pretty much.
I probably have to say I always drink 1 Gatorade and 1 water before I sleep. In the locker room, I always drink 1 Gatorade and 1 water, like a small Gatorade. It has to be a red Gatorade. 1 small red Gatorade and water.
I'll eat either. I'm a big fruit guy, so I'll always eat some blackberries. And then depending on the day, it'll either be blueberries or strawberries too. So yeah, try to get some fruit in it.
Yeah, my pregame routine consists of 2 world religions classes and 2 TOK classes. But no, I think the night before, I like to, actually the couple hours before, I like to take a look at the stats. To some degree, it's building strategy, just knowing where our guys are at and what they're successful with. And if we've seen a team a few times, like a Severn or a St. Mary's, generating some scouting reports for that. And for me, that just helps me as a coach, kind of quell some of the anxiety that surrounds competition and brings it down to a more tangible level. So I understand, rather than thinking about possible futures or anything that I can't control, I can think about what's happened in the past and to try and build on that in the present rather than thinking about something I can't control.
You guys mentioned earlier in this interview a little bit about what the physical prep looks like for the week. A lot of you guys play multiple sports, especially the students up here. But what differences do you see from your other sports to baseball from the mental side of things?
Well, one, baseball is not as physically demanding as football, so I definitely have to change my mental space, and I can't just be on go the full time. I have to be kind of aware of my of the field and where I can help on the field, help set up other players so where they can do their best and where I believe that the ball might go for them to feel at their best. And football is just, you gotta do it in front of you, you gotta get ahead of them.
I feel like the mental aspect of baseball is probably the most important part. Earlier this year, I was in a really bad mind space. Coach Barnhart, we talked about, got me right back on the mental path, and I started doing a lot better just because I was in the right mindset.
I'm a 1 sport guy, but for baseball, for me, it's a lot about visualization. So I like to sit down the night before and just kind of visualize I'll try to pick like one thing, whether it might even be something as simple as going through my prep step, or I'll throw 1 or 2 innings in my head. So it just helps me see what I'm trying to do the next day. Yeah.
Thank you guys very much for coming on this morning. Good luck in your game later on at 4:30 and for the rest of your season. But super excited to see how you guys end up the rest of the season and going into next year. But thanks again for coming on, and have a good rest of your day.